This is K. Narsaya, SA Social Studies, GHS Narendra Nagar, Kashuga, Warangal. Now we are going to learn the 12th chapter in 9th class Social Studies, that is Democratic and Nationalist Revolutions during 17th, 18th and 19th centuries. So now we are going to discuss the first topic, the modern world, an introduction. Today we live in a world where all countries of the world are in constant interaction with each other. We use different kinds of products to satisfy our needs. When we look at the production label, we find that the goods are not produced not only in our India, but they are imported from other countries. The people of different countries have constant interaction in the areas like sports, films, lifestyles, food habits, cultures, and other things. Indian team players play with the team of other countries. These are all greatly influenced by the world trends. We are following the way we dress, the way we watch movies, all these things we get from different countries. Now, it is true that all through human history, people have been in constant interaction or in touch with each other to some extent. For example, many people migrated to other countries in search of livelihood or to escape famines or disasters or diseases. So, in the same way, sailors crossed the seas and pilgrims and traders crossed high mountains to find new places or new lands, and they had contact with them. In the countries like India, people who were trading went to different countries. But this contact has been growing enormously for the last few centuries. That's why we live in a world that is called a global village. So far we discussed that we have contacts with other countries, but this contact has advantages, but there are also disadvantages of this contact of a global village. The contact between the countries led to wars, the First World War and the Second World War. The large countries with strong armies conquered the what is called small countries, and they led to wars, and they conquered the villages, they exploited the natural resources. Okay, right. Changes that made the modern world now we are going to discuss. Many changes occurred in the way the people think and they work, and also they go around some places. And here the production of goods was carried on a large scale. That is, with the introduction of machines into the production process, it was possible for the industrialists to produce goods on a large scale. This process is known as industrial revolution. Then many key factors or key features have been changed. Earlier, the kings ruled the countries, but in most of the countries today, there are democratic governments. The democratic governments were formed by the people who voted for the representatives. This process is called democratic revolution, and there were many advances in the science and technology, and the people developed logical thinking, and they thought rationally, and this led to the scientific revolution. Now the people are unable able to question. They are not believing blindly what others say. They are able to understand everything around them. And for example, the temperatures, rainfall, the diseases, and technological developments. In this way, there was a scientific revolution occurred. Then we go for the third key change that occurred in the modern period is colonization. Large countries with strong armies conquered the small countries, and they exploited the natural resources of the countries. So they enslaved the people, and the people living in such countries fought for their freedom. That led to the wars. They fought for their rights, fundamental rights, and for their duties. All those things they thought that led to the wars. These are the colonization. So far we discussed the four key features that changed the modern world. They are industrial revolution, democratic revolution, scientific revolution, and colonization. Colonization led to the wars among the different countries. So now we are going to learn the fourth topic, early modern period. The the period between 1450 to 1750 is called as the early modern period. Before this period also, there were many changes occurred in the history. In some countries like China, India, Arab countries, the traders were carrying goods to other countries by sea route. In around 1492, around 1492, Christopher Columbus, an Italian sailor, discovered the sea route to South America, and later he discovered a new continent. This opened the way for the colonization of South America and North America. In the same way, a Portuguese sailor named Vasco da Gama worked out a sea route to India. In this way, people started trading with different countries, and the towns were developed because of the rich merchants. Another key feature the development that occurred in the early modern period is the rise of large kingdoms and empires. In these kingdoms, the power was concentrated in the hands of only few people. These kingdoms and empires with large armies and officials defeated the small countries and made them colonies of such countries. In this way, the common people in the colonized countries suffered a lot. And when we look at the development in science and technology also, there were major advances made in science, especially astronomy, mathematics, and philosophy. Many people developed new methods for studying movement of planets and stars. In this regard, Galileo was the first person to mention. Galileo discovered that the sun is at the center of the solar system. Newton discovered the gravity of the earth. When he saw an apple falling from the tree, he got an idea, and that led to the discovery of gravitation of the earth. So there were some scientists named Descartes and Nilakanta Somayaji, Newton, and these people discovered so many things and invented so many things which were not known to the people at that time. The early modern period was dominated by the idea of human freedom and equality. It took different steps in different countries. It had an impact on the religious thinking of the people. The people rebelled against the dogmatism, priesthood, ritualism. They thought that human beings were created by God equally. Their position was not accorded according to the birth and the status of the society. So this led to the religious thinking, and it stopped the priesthood and dogmatism. Now we are going to learn about the idea of democratic form of government. Today we are used to the idea of democratic form of government. In this system, people have fundamental rights, and all are treated equally by the law. But in the earlier times, there were no democratic governments. The empires were ruled by the kings. The kings made laws according to their will and wish. They tortured the people. Some good kings also were there. They ruled them in a better way. But in this chapter, we are going to learn about how the democratic political system was developed late in some countries in this chapter. England was ruled by the kings of Tudor dynasty at the beginning of 17th century. At, at that time, Pope was the head of the Roman Catholic Church. The Tudor kings refused to accept the authority of the Pope. They thought that the England should be independent of the Pope. Then another conflict started between Parliament and the King. So the conflict was that who was more powerful in the kingdom. These conflicts led to the democratic form of government in England. So how this happened, let us see now. In 1603 Common Era, James I of Stuart dynasty became the king after the death of the last queen of Tudor dynasty. He believed that he got powers from the God, and he started ruling without the parliament. That led to the clash between the parliament and the kings. But in James I wanted some grants for fighting some wars. Without the approval of the parliament, he was unable to get or he was unable to impose any taxes on the people. That's why he summoned the parliament for special grants. And the parliament continued from 1640 to 1660. That's why it is known as the Long Parliament. The parliament wanted to control the king by putting some restrictions on the powers of the king. The, the parliament punished the ministers and stopped the working of the special court created by Charles I. Charles I took the advantage of differences within the parliament, and he tried to arrest his opponents in the parliament. This led to a civil war between the King's party and the parliamentary party. This war lasted for 5 years. In this war, King Charles I was defeated and executed by the parliament in 1649. Then a republican government was formed. This republican government did not last long. And in 1688, the King William of Orange and his wife Mary, the granddaughter of Charles I, were invited by the parliament to occupy the throne. So, in this new system of new government, the parliament had more powers and king had limited powers. The king's powers were not granted by the God but were by the parliament. In this way, a democratic government with parliament was formed in England without shedding a single drop of blood or firing a single shot. That's why this revolution is known as Glorious or Bloodless Revolution. The American independence now. After the Christopher Columbus discovered America, the people of England went to east coast of Northern America and settled there in 13 colonies. The people of England who wanted to be free and independent of India went to America and settled there. These people were small and middle class people. They wanted to cultivate lands, run shops, and other things. In this way, they settled there and they started ruling themselves. But the England government or the English Parliament wanted to make laws and laws for the people living in American colonies also. But the people of America did not have the voting rights. They did not vote in the British Parliament elections. That's why people did not like the authority of the British government on them. The people who settled there in America were small and middle class people. There were no landlords. That's why there was no feudal system as in Europe. The people they enjoyed a degree of social equality. In this way, there was a social equality and there were no rich and poor people in American colonies. The British government did not want to lose the income coming from the American colonies. That's why they wanted to impose some taxes on them. The people living in American colonies did not like this because they did not vote for the British Parliament elections. There were some great prominent people like Tom Paine and Thomas Jefferson. They promoted the social equality among the people of American colonies. When the British government passed the laws favoring the English traders against the wishes of the American people, the people wanted to revolt against the British government. They raised a slogan called "No taxation without their consent," and that led to the civil war between the English government and the American colonies. They decided George Washington to be the chief of their 12 colonies. The representatives from 12 colonies met at a place called Philadelphia at a congress and they wanted the King George III to restore their previous rights. But the king did not accept their wish or demand and he treated this act as a rebellion act against the British government. And at this, after few years, the people living in colonies, American colonies, again met at Philadelphia. This is called the Second Congress, and they requested the government not to impose tax on them without their consent. And this was also treated by the government seriously, and they declared war on the American colonies. And American people fought against the British and they got independence. In this way, the America got independence. So when American independence was declared, the people had some rights. The Charter of Rights was written by Thomas Jefferson, the principal author of the American Declaration. So according to this, his view, all the people were created by God equally. There were some fundamental rights like right to equality, right to pursue happiness. So these rights were not taken away by any government. And when we look at this declaration of American independence, we find that it is a good charter of fundamental rights. Now, every country in the world are following these rights. So, children, you may look at the last slide. which gives you the information regarding the Declaration of American Independence, which was adopted on the 4th July 1776. So, in today's session, we learnt about the modern world and the early modern period. In the early modern period, the developments occurred, that is industrial revolution, democratic revolution, scientific revolution, and colonization, and the wars. And the early modern period, between 1450 to 1750, and the developments occurred in this early modern period we studied. Later, we tried to learn about the democratic form of governments which occurred in Europe, especially in England. We learned about the democratic form of government in England, and American Revolution and American independence. So, with this, I want to end this class. Thank you, children. Thank you.